Welcome back, pro wrestling fans. Welcome back, Twitter universe. Welcome back, social media platform. It's your old buddy, the guardian of chaos, Big Daddy, and I tell it like it is. I'll say that to say this. Bringing you another edition of the Big Daddy Show, aka Chaos Corner. Now, fans, I want you to notice one thing. Have you noticed a different camera angle? We're trying something different here on Chaos Corner. Obviously, I'm always thinking, I'm always having breaking news, always trending. So I want to once again say that to say this. Get back to me. Leave a comment below on what you think of the new camera angle. Now, I know everybody's here, obviously, from Twitter. So in about 2 minutes or 20 seconds, we're going to leave Twitter, obviously, and bounce over to YouTube for the Guardian of Chaos on YouTube. Now, fans, if you're on my Twitter right now, or if you're on the other Twitter site where my boys are, and that's at Mario_Chaos, hit the profile link on my own Twitter handle at Big Daddy GOC. And we know what the GOC stands for, the Guardian of Chaos. So if you hit the link, the profile link, it'll push you over to YouTube. You'll be able to see the rest of the show. We have a lot of great content. Now, it hasn't caught on YouTube yet. We already know that Twitter, we're over the top. Both shows are doing unbelievable, and I appreciate the fan support. Like, subscribe, retweet, leave comments, whatever you want to do, because you know I appreciate it. But we're back here for another episode. I've been trying to do this weekly. Breaking news is I may be doing this nightly. We're not sure yet. You know that every Thursday night, I'm on the Patrick Ryan Show with Dino. International. You know, I've been on the curtain call with the president of the Yes Network, Mr. John J. Filippelli, and New York best-selling author Kevin Sullivan. Obviously, in my associations with Paradise Alley Pro Wrestling and the Paradise 4. And of course, the North American Wrestling Alliance and The Godfather. So there's a lot of breaking, trending news. I'm going to cover everything tonight, or today, I should say, because we're live. I'm not going to go through it right now. We're leaving Twitter. Go over to YouTube. Don't you dare miss it. All right, fans. Welcome over to YouTube. We just left Twitter. I got to say, I'm coming up on almost 2,000 followers on Twitter in less than 2 years. So happy with the results. My sponsors, we know SweetHeal.com. Go visit my buddy, Mr. Hempel Stilskin. Fans, it's Connecticut owned, Connecticut grown. Support your small entrepreneurs. And that would be Mr. Hempel Stilskin at sweetheal.com for all your CBD needs. CBD life, CBD wellness. I say it all the time. There isn't a day that I don't use one of the balms or the soothing lotions or the tinctures or even the edibles. It's unbelievable. Don't you dare miss it. It's legally grown, processed, and owned right in the Constitution state. How ironic is that? Let's not get started on all the politics and we're maybe 15, 16 days away from the election coming up between President Trump and the former vice president there, Joe Biden. So it's been very tricky, very touchy. A lot of people out there are off the hook in their views. It's almost like the Yankees-Red Sox rivalry in baseball, and you know how people can get physical and violent. I'm not sure if I like where the country's going with all this. That's why I stay on here for motivation, inspiration, positive vibes. With that being said, let me get off my soapbox. All right, we haven't been on in a week. I'm going to say this. Hopefully they're watching. I talked about Sweet Heal, CBD. You know, I had plenty of injuries in my career. To wrap this up with a little bow, go out to sweetheal.com. You're not going to want to miss it. Use the promo code CHAOS. 25% off. And in this day and age, with all the unemployment, 25% off to help with your injuries and your well-being. It doesn't get better than that. And I hope they're listening because I tweet at you. I'm trying to get in touch with you because I am a big, proud supporter. Red Bull. It gives me wings. It really does. I have to be honest. Listen, I'm a coffee drinker, okay? At this stage of my career, this stage of my life, which is still damn good, I need something for the little extra kick and the extra boost. Red Bull is my choice. And of course, the sugar-free. Nothing against the other brands. I like the sugar-free. Cheers. it damn sure gives me wings. With that being said, all right, fans, I see you. The new camera angle. You also have to have, of course, you have to stay hydrated. You know, the Guardian of Chaos at one time was 325 pounds in his heyday. I went down to 205. Listen, I talked about this last time, the quarantine 15. I'm up to about 220, but you got to stay hydrated. It's the elixir of life that will help your well-being, my opinion. And I've learned that from several people, including the head trainer at Paradise Alley, and that would be Paul Roma. We're going to talk about all the things going on in the world of professional wrestling. I have news out of the North American Wrestling Alliance. I have news out of Paradise Alley Pro Wrestling. Obviously, we're going to cover, or hope to cover, some AEW, some of the WWE. We're just coming out of the 30th anniversary of Chris Jericho, the 1 year of AEW, the draft from the WWE, the ratings. So I have a lot to talk about when it comes to the so-called major leagues, maybe even the G1 climax. For New Japan has been an unbelievable tournament. Impact is putting out quality content in this COVID pandemic. Ring of Honor and their Pure Wrestling tournament still going on. Ring of Honor is doing okay. They're doing good, but I'm not sure what they're missing yet. They have a lot of talent on that roster. MLW is supposed to be coming back with the Opera Cup. So we're going to cover all of this in all of the world of pro wrestling, and especially the concentration of what I do here at Chaos Corner. And fans, I already said it over on Twitter. I'm going to reiterate it here on YouTube. I'm on a national, international platform every Thursday night on the worldwide Patrick Ryan Show with Dino. Now, you guys already know his history. He was at the pinnacle on SiriusXM for over 5 years. So I'm fortunate to be on that platform. I talked about it on Twitter also. We're thinking about doing this nightly. We're going to see what happens, but I made breaking news on the Patrick Ryan Show. I am back into the private security industry. Fans that know my background, it's what I've done my whole career, whether it be a bodyguard, back for personal appearances of John Cena, Matt Hardy, and so on and so forth, whether it be working as a bodyguard, back and forth to the dressing rooms, to the stage, LL Cool J, Slick Rick, Big Daddy Kane, De La Soul, New Edition, Metallica, Rod Stewart, Jimmy Buffett, Todd Rundgren, Madonna, and these are just off the top of my head, plus the several other local legendary bands here like Crucible and Second Wind and the MVP Project. Unbelievable experience. I've worked for a lot of people. I've even bodyguarded some people on the side. I had no idea what their business was. I didn't care. They were paying me, so it was what it was. And, of course, my career of 25 years, which I'm very proud of, serving the community and saving people, finding the criminals. I'm very proud of that work. So, you know, I'm retired from there, but I am back on call 7 days a week, 24 hours a day, 365 days a year, back into keeping the community safe and back into private security industry. With that being said, that doesn't mean I stop my wheelhouse of the world of professional wrestling, sports entertainment, the world of Paradise Alley, North American Wrestling Alliance, and wherever I end up going forward. Obviously, I said it before, and I'll say it again, the Patrick Ryan Show. So I'm giving you a lot of rundowns. We're not even 10 minutes in yet before we get on to the news and the results that I have. So I was talking about well-being and Sweet Heel and CBD and Red Bull and obviously being hydrated because it's the most important thing in the world. And if you talk as much as I do. Again, the new camera angle, are we digging it? Are we not digging it? You see, I'm repping the old-time Big Daddy gear from back in the day. I don't know. I know one thing for sure. When I tilt my head back like this, it looks like a two-car garage. Quite the proboscis, as Gorilla Monsoon would say. Again, fans, one of these episodes will go through all the unbelievable classic memorabilia behind me. Let's get down to the task and the business at hand, fans. I have a lot of stuff to report, a lot of things that I want to talk about. A lot of stuff that I think you're going to find very interesting. And again, I want you to comment on it. We're here coming up on mid-October. I want to start off locally before we get to the national audience. Paradise Alley Pro Wrestling just wrapped up this past weekend, October 10th and 11th. Under Pressure, 2 nights, an unbelievable event down at the Paradise Alley Professional Wrestling Training Facility. Now, we know who the Paradise Four are. 4 men that worked under the guidance of Vincent Kennedy McMahon. Pretty Paul Roma, Mario Mancini, Paul Perez, and Big Steve Tracy. We already know that. Here's what they put on at the facility at night 1. For the tag team titles, the 3-time defending tag team champions Nick Payne and Hakim Ali defeated Sean and Jay the Haven. Now, fans, there's been an unbelievable amount of animosity between the 2 teams. Obviously, the veterans are the HOP, 3-time tag team champions. They have tag team titles in a couple of other companies, so they are multi-tag team champions all over the territories here of the Northeast and New England and spreading out around the country. Sean and Jay Haven, in order to earn that tag team title, because the HOP changed the rules, they had to defeat the Handsome Devils, who happened to be at night 1 of Under Pressure. They haven't been around in a while. I don't know who called them in, who imported them. But the Haven defeated the Handsome Devils. Sean and Jay are tremendous. They're Roma prodigies. Roma trained, Mancini brained. I say it all the time. These guys have an unbelievable future. I have a personal interest in the Haven. Let that be stated for the record. So not only did they have to defeat the Handsome Devils, who are no one to be trifled with. They're no bums. Then they go up against the HOP, and the Handsome Devils make another appearance. Now, if you haven't been down to the Paradise Alley facility lately, it's rechanged. It's been refurbished. It's been reinvigorated. It looks unbelievable. Professional. Paradise Alley is where it's at for the independent scene, especially in the historical area of New Haven County, the old stronghold of the World Wrestling Federation. We are right down the road from I-95 and Titan Towers. Never forget that. The shadows of Titan Towers, as I say all the time. Also returning home, MLW superstar, the current Caribbean heavyweight champion from MLW, who's in a big feud with Savio Vega. He's got a lot going on with the Dynasty and Hammerstone and Gino Medina, who has been booted out. Holiday was home. That's right. We were all breathing rarefied air. The most marketable man in pro wrestling, Richard Holiday, came home to Paradise Alley Pro Wrestling and defeated Dame Smith in the main event. I'll give Smith his credit. Good shape, tremendous grappler, but no match for the most marketable man in wrestling. When Holiday comes home to Paradise Alley, that's why Holiday is destined for wherever he wants to go. MLW, WWE, AEW, New Japan, it doesn't matter. Keep your eyes on Richard Holiday. I say it all the time. Also on night 1 of Under Pressure, Zafar Al-Rahihi is your new United States heavyweight champion, going over on Buzz Bloodsaw, who held the title for at least a year longer. Probably one of the longest reigns in Paradise Alley for the United States heavyweight champion. Zafar is now your champion and probably bringing back the United States champion to Saudi Arabia. Now, I'm going to give you a quick breakdown of how this happened. Don't think that Rahihi won on his own, because he certainly didn't. Interference from the Pyramids of Power. We know who that is. That dastardly bastard Abdul Haq, bringing in Aladdin, the Prince of Sands, and of course, Alading Ding. So they were all there, and then bring in Maxim Morozov, who I thought they were at odds, Rahihi. So there may be no collusion. We found out there was no collusion in the White House between Russia and President Trump. There was collusion somewhere between the Bidens and Hillary and Ukraine or whatever. I don't know if they'll ban this. I really don't care. I don't talk politics. But there is collusion in Paradise Alley Pro Wrestling. And that would be between the Pyramids of Power, Zafar Al-Rahihi, and Maxim Morozov. The ties between Saudi Arabia and Russia in professional wrestling, a la the Iron Sheik and Nikolai Volkov from back in the 80s in the golden era. So a lot of things happened on night 1. HOP defended the titles dastardly, though, against the Haven. Holiday returned home, usually the victor, wherever he goes. Zafar defeats Bloodsaw for the United States title. There was a lot of chicanery. 6-man tag team match. Another Roma prodigy. This guy gets bigger and in better shape every time I see him. And that's Kylon King, teamed up with my old buddy. I believe he's still on Rumspringa, and that would be Zach Gibbs. Gibbs has been quiet in Paradise Alley, but I have seen he's been traveling around the country working for a lot of organizations. So King teamed up with Zach Gibbs and Bro Keller. Or Brew Keller. I don't know how you say it. I believe it's from Cajun country. No offense to anyone out there. I just don't have my accent down the right way. 6-man tag team match against the Prophecy. Big Jim Anderson. Literally a maniac. He brought in another guy that's got a few screws loose. The Toxic Avenger, Danny Adam. And they brought in a guy who's in tremendous shape. I'll bet you he doesn't have more than a 5 or 6% body fat. And that would be the Magnificent Marcos. What an unbelievable 6-man tag team match. You look at the team of Big Jim, Adam, and Marcos. I'm not quite sure how they pulled it off, but Kylon King, Gibbs, and Keller came out victorious in that 6-man tag. So that was night one. It was sold out. It was unbelievable. It really looks like the NWA did when they were doing NWA Power before the pandemic hit. A cross between that and Tommy Dreamer's House of Hardcore. The arena in the school looks tremendous. It really, really does. So that was night one. A lot of big, important things came out of that. Let's go on to night two. I see we're coming up on a little over 15 minutes in. You know what I always say? They say not to go over 30 or 45 minutes, but all the guys out there that are big guys that I follow, guys that I respect because I think they're good, each and every one of them for what they do. JD from New York, Off the Script, the #1 fucking podcast on YouTube. It's just that simple. He's my go-to guy. And then when he teams up with Jesse, my man from Chicago, when they cover AEW, it doesn't get better than that. I also am a huge fan of Don Tony. He's one of the most entertaining veteran broadcasters out there who's been doing this for so long. I got to give credit to Don Tony and his boys that he's hooked up with in the past and right now, whether that be my buddy Kevin Castle or whether it be Mish. You got to love the Mish and Wrestling Soup. Those guys are unbelievable. And then throw in my buddy who I met at the New England Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame and at Fan Fest 7, and that would be Joe Cronin in the Joe Cronin Show. Now, I watch those guys religiously. Of course, I watch Hannibal TV. I'm a big fan of Devin Nicholson. Of course, I listen to Jim Cornette, other podcasts, but I'm talking about the local guys that are my go-to guys. I also listen to Juliet Miranda and producer David. They have an unbelievable YouTube channel, Bourbon Soaked Live. They really are. I'm big fans of them and their storytelling. And then Juliet has her podcast, which is unbelievable. And if you follow me on Twitter, you'll understand that. These folks, Juliet and David, the producer, very engaging. Juliet is very easy on the eyes. And they are quite the storytellers. So those are the people that I follow a lot and listen to a lot, and I follow their shows. I go back and I re-listen to them. I even listen to Alvarez. I'll admit it. But on to the task at hand, Paradise Alley Pro Wrestling, Night 2, Under Pressure. This was this past weekend. Here's the breaking news. Your new Alley Fights champion in a ladder match. Unbelievable. The videos have been unbelievable. They're out there on YouTube. You can go to all Paradise Alley Pro Wrestling social media. Dustin Flash Waller, another Roma prodigy, is your new Alley Fights champion, going over in a ladder match of all things against the former champ now, Nutrius X, and of course the leader of the Tri-State Kings, Showtime Marcel Williams, and also unbelievable from Waves and Curls, the big man Trayvon Jordan. That was an unbelievable match. We knew X was the champion, so for Waller, the Roma prodigy, in his early part of his career, as green as he still is, but what a talent to win the Alley Fights title was surely amazing. Now, I know Showtime thought he was going to come in, perhaps be the king of the mountain once again. He's won the heavyweight champion in Paradise Alley. He's been the U.S. champion. He's been the Intercontinental champion. He won the inaugural Hercules Hernandez Memorial Tournament for Paradise Alley over Kylon King. So there isn't anything he hasn't done except maybe the tag team titles, and he may do that someday. Who knows? But he thought he would win the Alley Fights title. He was denied. Dustin Flash Waller, congratulations. Also, Kylon King over Troy Stevens, two gentlemen that are unbelievably gifted physically. What a matchup it was, but King has been on a roll. Keep an eye on Kylon King. Here was a match that I was super interested in. Two unbelievable veterans, one super veteran that's been around for a long time. Long time. The Red Lion Chris Battle and the American Luchador Jiggy Sosa. Two totally different styles battle. The larger man, more grounded. Sosa, a high flyer. Jiggy Sosa came out on top that night. Unbelievable matchup. The great Nuka Kojima defeated Sam Shields. Now, Shields is quite the physical specimen, but Nuka Kojima with Honest Abe, and that's what I like about Paradise Alley. They have the managers, whether it be that bastard Abdul Haq or now Honest Abe, who one night I was going to clothesline out of nowhere, but and Roma even gave me the go-ahead. Paul Roma gave me the go-ahead to do it, but I didn't do it. So Nuka Kojima is with Honest Abe. He went over on Sam Shields. Kojima reminds me of the great Muta. He really does. And unbelievable. He has the face paint, the whole 9 yards. Maxim Morozov had a change of heart. We know what happened the night before. He's been feuding with the Intercontinental Champion, the New England Beast, Bull Dread, over 20 years in this business. Here it is. Dread defended the title. Disqualification. Morozov wins by disqualification because there's always some chicanery. I told you about collusion, but Bull Dread is still the Paradise Alley Pro Wrestling Intercontinental Champion. Okay? Morozov may have won by disqualification. This isn't over. There's a lot of feuds and a lot of things going on. Also, Joey Silver over Sasha Jenkins, two incredibly gifted grapplers. I've said that before. Sasha Jenkins with the Sexy World Order at one time. Joey Silver represented himself very well, and I believe his debut for PAPW. An unbelievable matchup. Again, all this is out on social media. I was surprised. I believe that's an upset, in my opinion. Now, you guys know I'm a scout. I'm a historian. I'm all over the place. You know that already. Also, one of my favorites in the tag team division, Hose A and Hose B, Team Espana. Every time they come into Paradise Alley, they invigorate the roster. They defeated the Firm. And quite the not an upset, I wouldn't say an upset, but the Firm travels like a wolf pack. It happened to be Elijah Six and Sammy Diaz. The other ones weren't around. There was no Jay Bricks. There was no Richard Stone Esquire. All the little gnats. Who's the other guy? I can't even remember his name. Very talented group of guys. No offense against the Six. I personally don't like them. I don't give a damn. They lost to Team Espana. Espana is unbelievable. They will be back in the title picture. They will face the House of Pain again. That's just my prediction. Hey, listen, I'm no Roma. I don't run the show. I get it. That's my prediction. Also, the Pyramids of Power. We talked about them in night one, playing interference for Zafar Al-Rahihi. They went over on Bull Dread and Morozov. Again, I jumped ahead of myself. This is how the Intercontinental title became into night two. Dread and Morozov teamed up. Morozov, like I said earlier, had a change in plans, a change of heart, and was getting away from the whole Saudi Arabia influence in Paradise Alley. But he turned on him in this match with the Pyramids of Power, so that's why I say collusion is back together. I might have jumped ahead with the results, but here's the end result. Because I am the guardian of chaos, and I tell it like it is, and there's three types of people in this world. Those who don't know what happened, those who wonder what happened, and people like the GOC Big Daddy that makes things happen with the new camera angle here in Chaos Corner. So Morozov turns on Dread. He's a commie bastard. Okay, I know I'm not politically correct, but I'm throwing it out there. This is my own broadcast, my own platform, and I'll take responsibility, and I own what I say. So those are the nights, those are the incidents which led into Morozov and Dread later on in night two, and Morozov won by DQ, but Dread is still the champion. So the bottom line is, and we know the breaking news, I didn't say it at the beginning, there was no main event on night two for the heavyweight championship between the big man Vlad and the former champion, the Uruguayan sensation, Matias De Napoli. Because Vlad is nowhere to be found. No one knows where he is. I don't know the results. I don't know what happened. I do know that under pressure on night one or night two, there was no heavyweight championship match. De Napoli called him out on social media for not showing up. I don't know what the future holds in the heavyweight division or for the heavyweight title, the most important title in the Paradise Alley Pro Wrestling. So that's what happened in night one and night two. I'll run over the championships here. Obviously, It's still pending unless he gets stripped or something happens coming up. I don't know. The heavyweight champion is still Vlad at Paradise Alley. The tag team champions are still the House of Pain, courtesy of their victory over Sean and Jay Haven. We have a new United States title champion, Zafar Al-Rahihi. We know that, who went over on Buzz Bloodsaw, again, outside interference, collusion with the Pyramids of Power and Maxim Morozov. It's just that simple. That's the bottom line. We also have a new Alley Fights champion. We know that's Dustin Flash Waller, who went over in the big ladder match. Unbelievable. Nutrius X, Showtime, and Trayvon Jordan. So those are the current champions. That's what's going on in Paradise Alley Pro Wrestling. Listen, we're in phase 3 here in the Constitution State, so it's opened up and everybody was safe and there was social distancing and masks were required. So we're following the guidelines. The fans in this area are starving for this entertainment and this pro wrestling, and that's why the shows were sold out. We go back to Alley Fights in August. Now, bang, back-to-back nights here and Under Pressure coming up November 7th. That's right, fans. We're only a couple of weeks away, less than a couple of weeks away. November 7th, Paradise Alley Pro Wrestling presents Alley Fights again, 6 p.m. bell time, down at the training facility. The card has not been announced yet. Also, after that, there's going to be a Paradise Alley Pro Wrestling show in November, one in December. They're planning it all out. A special fan appreciation night will be coming up too, from what I understand. So fans, stay tuned. There's a lot happening, even during the pandemic, for Paradise Alley Pro Wrestling. Don't you dare miss it. I want to wrap up that segment. We're 25 minutes in, and I didn't get on to anything that I wanted to say. But since we're on the local scene, the legendary New England Northeast Territories, from independent to international to worldwide to global here on Chaos Corner, let me take a little break here for a second, fans. Could you please bear with me here? And again, like, subscribe, tweet, retweet, smash the button, whatever it is you want to say. And listen, I know I tongue-tied a couple times. I'm going to ask you guys about the new look too. But you know what Bully Ray said to me about 20 years ago? At least a couple of times. He said it to me. Devon was right there. This is the facts. Give the Guardian of Chaos 5 spots and he'll fuck up 4 of them. Hey, it's that simple. I'm proud of that. I consider that to be a compliment. Red Bull, again, I hope you're watching the whole show. I realize I'm 26, 27 minutes in. Bear with me here. Listen, the big shout out from the GOC. 2-time Hall of Famer, rumored to be nominated for a 3rd Hall of Fame. It doesn't get better than that. Bing, bing, bing. The close-up's not bad. What do you think? And again, I have to stay hydrated. I say it all the time because I consider myself to be a positive, motivational, inspirational person. I said that already. You fans know that. Wow. Wow. I love water. So before I get on to what I want to talk about next, Chaos Corner, your boy, the GOC, Big Daddy. Again, I'm always playing around here, fans. Again, there's no edit button. There's no big operational board. I spent thousands on what I do have already. I'm trying to get onto a bigger, better platform. I told you the people I admire and I follow. So this is raw, unedited, unique, unscripted. This is what I bring to the platform as the Guardian of Chaos, Big Daddy. It doesn't matter if I'm a manager, if I occasionally step in the ring still at my age. That's right. Private security, bounty hunter, private investigator, color commentator, reporter, scout, historian, broadcaster, TV show, movies, national TV, broadcast TV, radio, international, national. It is what it is. I'll say that to say this. Let's get back, as I said, to the task at hand. We're coming up on 30 minutes. I got to tell you, I don't know how all these other guys do it. I have to get another guy that I follow, too, that a legend from the old WFAN days when he was on overnights back in the 90s, covering the world of professional wrestling with Jody Mack, and that would be Rich Mancuso. Now, I follow Rich on Facebook and on Twitter, and I watch his YouTube channel, and it's very underrated and undervalued. He doesn't have a lot of followers, but some great content out there with Rich Mancuso, another guy that I really respect and admire his work. Let me get on to other breaking news that I know you're going to want to know about because it's what I'm involved with. Again, I'm coming up bingo right on 30 minutes. The North American Wrestling Alliance and the Godfather, Tony Capone. This is what I want to touch home on because it's breaking and trending news. December 19th, Jingle Brawl will be at the Daytona Beach Oceanfront Center. Fans, you're not going to want to miss it. Did I say minute? Back to my point about Bully Ray. And if you listen to him on Busted Open Radio, which I have to admit, I'll be a mark. I listen to Busted Open Radio probably every day. They've been on for 11 years. So they are the authority. But back to Bully Ray's point, let me get on to what I'm talking about with Jingle Brawl. I have to find it in my notes because if I put out the wrong information and who we're in negotiations with, and if it gets back to the front office, everybody knows how the business is, and you know that I'm always prepared with my notes. I have so many sources. We've said this before, that I have to outsource my sources. Okay, this is all my AEW stuff. I don't even need notes, fans. You know that? I should know this off the top of my head, especially as the commissioner of the North American Wrestling Alliance. That's right, fans. I feel like I'm going through my New England Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame speech, which Paul Roma, the legendary Roma, from Maintaining the Truth with Avi Klein on Facebook Live and Twitch every Wednesday night at 7 p.m., said to me at the New England Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame in my induction speech, page 17, because I had stumbled a little bit. But this is what happens when you're the unique personality, persona, businessman that you are as the Guardian of Chaos. Because as I do it, I'll still continue to talk and go through my notes. Don't get me started on this week in history. The bottom line is I don't even need it, but I just wanted to be accurate. December 19th at the Ocean Center in Daytona Beach, the North American Wrestling Alliance presents Jingle Brawl. That's right, fans. Tickets are on sale now at the Ocean Center itself, and I have a lot of friends down south at the Ocean Center in Daytona. Ticketmaster as well. I'm sure you can go to the website, NAWA Wrestling, Tony Capone, NAWA on Facebook. He'll get back to each and every one of you fucking personally. At least that's what he says. So I have to believe him for his word. Here's the rumored people that are signed with the NAWA and that may be there. It's going to be on iPay-per-view on Fight TV. The NAWA and the Godfather has signed an exclusive deal with Fight TV, and I've heard through other podcasts, whether it be Chaz Moretti and Papa Stroh and Dr. John on their incredible podcast that Tony Capone is on all the time, that they may be running. And as a commissioner, I will be a part of it. So when I say they and we, take it for what it is. Don't hold me to task on this. They will be running down in Daytona Beach because we know Governor DeSantis down there has opened up the whole state to 100% capacity. And that's why the AEW and Tony Khan and Vince McMahon and the WWE and NXT and Raw and SmackDown and Dark and everything else for me, that's why they're running in the Sunshine State. You think they're stupid? Why do you think they keep running? They ran through the whole pandemic because they've got loosened guidelines down there. You could have full capacity. So on December 19th for Jingle Brawl, the North American Wrestling Alliance is going to have stars. There's a lot of stars in Florida. I know that the Godfather has negotiated with the legends to be agents and in the front office. Gerald Briscoe, who was released after 36 years of working for Vince. The legendary Larry Zbyszko. Okay, he's looking to bring those people in as advisors. We already know that Roma and Mario Mancini are in the front office along with Big Sal Graziano, Cindy Snow, Lou Reardon. We know the influential front office people that are involved at the NAWA. But these are the other big stars. Big negotiations with Mr. Anderson. That's right. Mr. Anderson, WWE, NWA, ECW, TNA, in negotiations. Breaking news here. You may have heard it already. Signed Davey Boy Smith Jr., a.k.a. Harry Smith the British Bulldog Jr., has signed with the NWA. Kahagas, the legendary masked, painted grappler from the Orient, has signed with the NAWA. Let's not forget the return of the legendary, and I say it all the time, the Slambonis, the Slambinos. Go and check out on all social media, and you'll see that the Slambinos, not a bunch of jabronis, and that's why I said it, in my opinion, they're Slambonis. Do you get the reference? Jabroni, Slambroni, the Slambinos. Do you understand? What a group of guys they are. Check out the vignettes. You're not going to find anything like it. They are a part of the North American Wrestling Alliance. Also, Allie Rex for the female division. I've already talked about several of the big stars that he signed on. He's even signed on guys from Paradise Alley Pro Wrestling that has been in the works, whether it be Dustin Flash Waller, the current Alley Fights champion, whether it be Showtime Marcel Williams, the leader of the Tri-State Kings, and the Paradise Alley Pro Wrestling Tag Team Champions, the House of Pain. All rumored to be going over to the NAWA, along with guys and mainstays like the Jackmaster John Diamond or tough Tony DeVito from the Baldies. There's a lot of things coming out of the NAWA and a lot of talent. Even other younger, greener female grapplers, but with history, like Miranda Gordy, Terry Bam Bam Gordy from the Freebirds, his daughter. So there's a lot of news coming out of the North American Wrestling Alliance, and I believe, again, back to the original point, to wrap this up like a little bow, I believe the NAWA, because of what's going on with the pandemic, and New York is shut down, even though Connecticut is loosened up, and there's going to hopefully be an affiliation between training facilities, Paradise Alley Pro Wrestling, North American Wrestling Alliance, still negotiated, still in the works, but they are potentially, and as commissioner, I can put this out there, maybe running the first 4 or 5 shows in 2021 for the Back with a Vengeance tour down in the Sunshine State, out of the Ocean Center in Daytona, may be the home base. That's what I'm hearing. That's where it's trending. I also want to talk about the Patrick Ryan Show. I've been mentioning throughout the whole broadcast here. My old buddy Dino Costa, a.k.a. Patrick Ryan. I get it. And if I said it and he hears it, he's going to get pissed. I really don't give a damn. There's a good chance on the Back with a Vengeance tour, professional wrestling at its best, the North American Wrestling Alliance, your commissioner, your fucking commissioner, one way or a fucking another, maybe going out to Wyoming, maybe to the Riley Center in Wyoming, maybe to the Cheyenne Ice Arena in Wyoming. 3 different venues that hold anywhere from 4,000 to 8,000 people. That's the breaking and trending news. Tony Capone has been a strong supporter these last several weeks of Chaos Corner on the Patrick Ryan Show. So, Tony, if you're listening, if you're watching, 37 minutes in, I want to give you a personal thank you for supporting me on that platform with my old buddy Dino. As I get on to more notes here of the main roster of what I'm doing here and what the Guardian of Chaos is involved in, I want to make sure that I mention everyone, give the shout outs, recognize the people that I'm associated with. And again, a special shout out to another friend of mine who's helping me out, a couple different people. The Professor, Rick Del Santo, one of my good buddies out there on the Pro Wrestle Zone, the Wrestling Zone podcast, Pro Wrestle Zone. You can see it on YouTube, the Professor Rick Del Santo. He's got an unbelievable product. It's growing by leaps and bounds. A lot of special guests on there. He's a unique guy, a classic traditional historian, and a big fan of pro wrestling. I consider him to be an inside source. So a big shout out to the Professor Rick Del Santo. There's also on a local level, and again, I don't know if these guys watch this or don't watch this. Another guy I respect his work, and they throw it out there. It's Don Kincaid. He's a little off his rocker, but one hell of a personal, genuine guy, good family man. His family's unbelievable people, but these guys are local social media here, reporters and scouts that do a lot for the businesses, even throw in from 25 years ago a guy who helped me out on different platforms locally, and that would even be the legendary Fog Man. Yeah, it's a little misty in here. It's a little misty. I smell something. But anyway, Fog has helped me out. He's been around 25 years. For whatever that means, it means that he's dedicated to the business and to the product. So you got to give the devil his due. And not that he's the devil, okay? And I'm not backtracking because I really don't really don't give a fuck. I don't like to say that anymore. I'm trying to clean up my image. Speaking of cleaning up my image. Now, fans, you know, traditionally, obviously, I have this stunning beard, this stunning goatee. I haven't had a mustache, and I'll bet you 20 years, maybe 25 years. I've had a little bit of a beard, but never, this is all new. I usually keep it clean shaven, as you know, but we're heading into the winter solstice, the holiday season, the election 2020, which means I want to give another shout out because they've been talking about this, and I have to mention this guy. They don't know me personally. I follow them on social media. Some of them follow me, but I like to give shout outs to people that follow me, whether it be a work in progress. I love the guys over there, the Wrestle Sketcher, Erica, Piles. They're all, Mayor Canton, they're all great people. A Work in Progress is an entertaining, fun podcast that you should listen to. Again, like I said about Juliet Miranda, Erica. Easy on the eyes. Stevie, Wrestle Sketcher, one of the most talented men I've ever seen. And the mayor of Canton there, I believe, Kyle. Listen, I follow, but there's so many different people. He's a great guy. There's a lot of Kyle's Cash, Pash. They're great people at A Work in Progress, so don't get offended. I also want to give a special shout out and go to this fucking platform because it's unbelievable besides the other people that I follow. And this is how I learn things in the business because I'm learning from a lot of different people. Special shout out to MWF Boston Wrestling with The Prodigy, The Kid, Matt the Kid Degnan, and he's a big supporter of my stuff, and he's up there with Dan Murata and Boston. They bring in the legendary Tony Atlas. They have Marty's parties. There's all kinds of chaos going up there, and yes, pun intended. But they also have an unbelievable chat out there and YouTube channel and what they're doing to keep the pro wrestling legends working in this business, like Tony Atlas. They do a lot with Dan Murata and the Prodigy, who used to be a part of the podcast, The Kid. So I want to give them a shout out. But back to the person I really want to talk about, because again, they may know of me, but they don't know me personally. They've only been on the air for about 3 months on Facebook, the only platform, and now Twitch, and before they get onto Patreon or whatever. And that would be Avi Klein and his boys, David Holliday and Adam Sentiv and Howard Collado and the whole group over there at Pro Wrestling Elite Fandom. What they're doing is unbelievable. And personally, what Avi does, presenting the podcast platform 7 days a week, like 10 shows a week, it's unbelievable. I'm going to run through the lineup. And again, I don't care who's listening, who's not listening. I'm 42 minutes in. This is Chaos Corner. I am the guardian of chaos. I tell it like it is. I'll say that to say this. Mondays on Avi Klein, Glacier Ray Lloyd, breaking the ice with the former star from WCW who just made an unbelievable movie. I believe it's called The Irreplaceables, and that would be with Glacier Ray Lloyd. That's Monday, every Monday, Avi Klein and Glacier Ray Lloyd for Breaking the Ice. Great podcast, and I can't wait to see that movie. Every Tuesday, Avi has Face Value with Bill DeMott. You know him as Hugh Morris from WCW, WWE. He was one of the trainers from Tough Enough, a legend in his business, the big man, Bill DeMott, and Face Value every Tuesday. And of course, obviously, the seriousness of his daughter and the Carrie Ann DeMott Foundation. I can't stress it enough. Anytime, go out to all social media, go to Facebook, all different Bill DeMott social media platforms, to the Carrie Ann DeMott Foundation. It's the most important thing you'll ever do. So that's on Tuesdays, Face Value. Every Wednesday, I said it earlier, it's with Paradise Alley Pro Wrestling head trainer, former Four Horsemen, Power and Glory, Pretty Wonderful, Young Stallions, New England Pro Wrestling Hall of Famer, Paradise Alley Pro Wrestling Hall of Famer, and president of the NAWA, and that would be Pretty Paul Roma, for Maintaining the Truth with Avi Klein every Wednesday night. It's an unbelievable, positive motivator. Roma is such a patriot and for this country. That's a show that you can't miss. Thursdays, 5 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, 11 a.m. Aloha time. I said it on the last Chaos Corner Big Daddy show. Peha oi, melehini, and kane, pupule, wiki, wiki, mahalo. For all my brothers over there in Hawaii, Don Morocco, the legend, the Hall of Famer, the magnificent, The Rock, and I said it last time too, the original Rock, before The Rock, Dwayne Johnson, making waves every Thursday. And let's see, Making Waves is probably the most entertaining one that I like to fan interact with. It really is. And listening to Morocco, the Hall of Famer, he's such a laid back guy. And from over there in Hawaii, again, hang loose, aloha, Don. And it's a pleasure to hear you and Avi Klein on Making the Waves Fridays, which is when I'm taping this right now. This will probably be out tonight, definitely by tomorrow, Saturday, but probably tonight. And I will be watching tonight Duke the Dumpster Drosy on Road to Recovery. Another unbelievable podcast. He's saving lives. He's there for everybody. He's helping a lot of people. He gives back. Mike is an unbelievable guy. I've had the honor to meet him. Duke the Dumpster Drosy, 6 o'clock on Friday nights, Road to Recovery with Avi Klein. Saturdays, for all you late night partiers, for all you insomniacs, for all you chaos maniacs, who knows, maybe someday I'll be on it. They have something new called the Green Room, where it's all the guys that help out Avi Klein during the week on all the different podcasts and on the platform and Pro Wrestling Elite Fandom. Mickey Doyle, the former legendary wrestler from the 70s and 80s. Mickey's got unbelievable stories. He's on the podcast all the time on different shows, along with guys like Jonard Soley, Gordon Soley's son. That's right, Jonard Soley, because I haven't mentioned the one podcast that I haven't gotten to yet, because we haven't gotten there yet. I don't put, unlike a lot of other people in this business, I don't put the carriage before the horse. Do you understand what I'm talking about? Because I think you do. Back to what I'm talking about. For you late nighters, the Green Room. And I was talking about Gordon Soley's son, Jonard Soley. We'll get on to that because he's a guest that comes on. The Green Room with Howard Collado, Adam Sentif. And if you catch on to that Sentif, then you'll know who I am also over on Facebook. Throw in David Holliday. I said Mickey Doyle. That's who I originally was talking about, legendary grappler. Throw all those guys in the mix on a Saturday night and whatever other guests they're going to be bringing on. The Green Room looks like a lot of fun. Again, all this is on Facebook Live and Twitch. Not a big platform for me. I am a Twitter guy, which I know everybody hates Twitter right now, but I stay out of the bullshit. I stay out of the political stuff for the most part, and same thing on YouTube. So those are my main platforms. Although, Instagram, Facebook, all that other stuff. We'll see what happens. I have to be over there just to make sure that I scout all the other talent. But the Green Room looks like it's going to be a lot of fun with those guys. Again, Holiday, Doyle, Howard, Adam. It looks like a lot of fun. And then on to Sunday, which is a great podcast with Avi Klein because he also talks politics, life, reality in this one. Kind of like a Patrick Ryan show when I'm on with Dino. And that would be the Patriot Del Wilkes for Unmasking the Truth every Sunday with Avi Klein. Now, Del Wilkes is an unbelievable patriot, and then his stories with All Japan Wrestling and his history over there, it's a great podcast. And Del, right now, has been in the middle of embroiled debates with Jonard Soley. Back to what I was talking about. You see, I may talk about stuff and jump all over the place, but I end up coming back to it. They've been having an unbelievable back and forth where Avi's been like the political moderator with Del and Jonard Soley going back and forth. And I got to be honest, Del Wilkes, with all due respect to Jonard, Del Wilkes is making Jonard look like a chump, a jabroni, so to speak, because Del Wilkes has it all over on him, on his facts, because we're not talking about opinions here. I appreciate everybody's opinion. We're talking about facts, and Del Wilkes knows what he's talking about, so Unmasking the Truth. And they're sponsored by Right Guard. And I'll give this out to Avi Klein, who will probably never say this. Not right now. If I get heated and I'm going to start sweating and I'm down here at Chaos Corner and I'm losing my mind and I'm drinking Red Bull and I can't handle it and I got to do it every day, what would I have? I would have Right Guard. But guess what? I don't have any Right Guard because they're not one of my sponsors yet. And for as much as I respect Avi and I'm trying to be politically, socially, and noise level decent here. Thank God I'm down actually below earth right now. But I don't have Right Guard as a sponsor, but Avi Klein, unbelievable podcast, 7 days a week, all those stars I've been talking about for the last 15 minutes. And back to what I was just talking about. Chaos Corner, literally, if I want to estimate it here right now, I want to say a good 8 feet below ground, in the bowels of the earth. So that's what's going on with all the local people that I want to give shout outs to. We covered here, we began on Twitter, we bounced over to YouTube. We covered Paradise Alley Pro Wrestling Under Pressure, what's happening there moving forward, all the champions. We talked a decent amount about the international national platform of Patrick Ryan with Dino, where I'm on every Thursday nights for Chaos Corner. We talked a lot about the Godfather Tony Capone and the North American Wrestling Alliance and what's going on there and where it's trending. We gave special shout outs again to that special, in my opinion, just important people that I follow on Influence Star. Of course, we all listen to the regular big timers, like whether it be Eric Bischoff or Brian Alvarez or even the Podfather himself, and then, of course, Jim Cornette. And yeah, I guess a lot of people in the mainstream, but I kind of listen to shows off the mainstream. And I'm not saying that JD and Don Tony and Cronin and all the other guys I listen to are off mainstream, because they're not, especially with JD from New York. But and now Avi Klein, 1.6 million views or viewers in 3 months. So that may be the new Podfather. And I know they've been out to StarCast before. But so with all that being said, I don't want to go too long. We're at 50 minutes. And if you listen to Patrick Ryan, you listen to other people, you listen to my former producer, Double P Paul Perez, the class of 2020 Hall of Famer, and I'll close off with that. They say the average listening time is 12 to 18 minutes or 30 minutes, but I see a lot of these, whether it be the Action Kid who does the live walkthroughs in New York City, who's associated with Rich Mancuso, or it's Rich himself, or all the different people that have super chats from Devin Nicholson at Hannibal TV to Cronin to Don Tony to, and especially JD, who is number one. Make no fucking mistake about that. That's just my opinion. They have all the super chats and different things like that and all the other podcasts. So that you gotta follow the people that are embroiled and do it as a passion, and do it not just because they're looking to do it and trying to be someone. It's their passion. It's what they love. It's what they're dedicated to, kind of like the Guardian of Chaos. And so I'm going to end off this episode, and of course I'm going to mail it out to everyone. So whoever hung around here for the full hour, I appreciate it. It means a lot to me. We're trying to do things. I'm putting out content. Things are ever changing. But I want to thank Paradise Alley Pro Wrestling, because a couple of weekends ago, before I made the last show, I was inducted on October 3rd, 2020, into the class of 2020, obviously, the Paradise Alley Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame, along with the Paradise 4 and Sergeant Murray. Now, I'll give you a quick rundown here, because I don't want to go over an hour. I don't have to talk to the credentials of Pretty Paul Roma and what he's doing in yesteryear or what he does today. It speaks for itself. His credentials speak for himself. I've spoke ad nauseum over the years about paying homage to WWF from 84 to 92 grappler, a debut for every legend you can imagine. My former co-host, and that would be Mario Mancini. Of course, Double P Paul Perez, second generation grappler, grew up in the business, worked for Vince McMahon. And of course, the founder, and another guy who, I've said this before, made this association many times of being bounty hunters for Dr. D. David Schultz, and that would be Big Dave Paradise, Big Steve Tracy, the founder. And then, of course, a man who served this country, who a brother behind the walls, who I respect immensely, and in his own right was a hell of a grappler at a late stage, the director of operations, Sergeant Murray, Ralph Murray. All were inducted into the Paradise Alley Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame, the inaugural class, and I went in with them. So what's happened in the last year or two of my life to being inducted into 2 Hall of Fames, and Paradise Alley, this was created not by the Paradise 4. They're too humble for that. They don't give a shit about stuff like that. It was created by Hakim Ali, Nick Payne, Showtime, Marcel Williams, the Zebras of Justice, Matt DeCourt, all the people at Paradise Alley, Jules, you know what I'm talking about, all the different people in the family down at Paradise Alley, the students, the stars. That's who threw that and made that happen. And it was a special night, and I'm privileged. I don't know where things will go moving forward with my career, but that'll always be home, my family, my people, Paradise Alley Pro Wrestling. I can't thank you enough. Just like with Joe Bruin and the New England Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame, that means a lot to me. So it was quite a night. It was very interesting. It was funny as all get out. If you get a chance to go see it on social media, MLW superstar and Paradise Alley homegrown initial student Richard Holiday was there conducting the red carpet along with Matt DeCourt. It was unbelievable. Nick Payne and Hakim, the HOP, not only inducted Paul Perez, they inducted myself too. So it was unbelievable. And then to have Paul Perez in full Lucha Libre gimmick, okay, with the mask, it was really an unbelievable night. And then El Ref, El Gallo Tres Huevos, came up and interpreted through Spanish the Hall of Fame acceptance speech. Paul Perez never said a word. And at the end, in traditional style, he revealed himself, Double P. That was very entertaining. And then to have Mario and Big Steve go in together, it was like a family event for everyone. They went in together as old school. They were inducted by Holiday. He threw out a hell of a speech. That's why he's a superstar and a member of the dynasty, and why I believe he'll be with the hottest guy in pro wrestling right now for AEW, who's in the middle of an embroiled thing with Chris Jericho, highly entertaining. And that would be Max MJF. Make no mistake about it. You'll go back to these in archives, and you'll see what I'm talking about with the dynasty and Richard Holiday, Hammerstone, MJF, and especially Holiday because of the local connection. So he inducted old school. It was a lot of cracking, doing the dozens, so to speak. You may not be old enough to know what that's about. So it was a lot of fun, a lot of laughs. And then, of course, Showtime Marcel Williams, looking as classy as ever, inducted Roma. So the speeches, the presenters, the whole night was unbelievable. So that's where we're at right now on this episode. Again, keep staying tuned to my social media, especially Twitter. We'll see how things change, but things will be out there, just like this will be on. So I want you to continue to follow, like, subscribe, stay tuned for what I'm doing, because you never know what could happen. You see all the different things that are happening. We got the election coming up. We're getting into the holiday season. I'm back to full-time private work. We understand that. Still going forward with the Wheelhouse, a lot of things in negotiations. I want to personally thank someone, again, who's still been mentoring me, and I say it a lot because his advice, and it's who I listen to over anyone, with 40, 50 years in this business, and a Hall of Famer, the president of the Yes Network, and I can't thank him enough, and that would be Mr. John J. Filippelli. And he may never see this video, and it may not mean anything to anyone else, but it means something to me. And I thank John J. Filippelli. Flip, I owe everything to you, so stay tuned. All my friends out there, I want to give shout-outs to everyone. I'll be here all day, but I'm coming back. Don't worry about it. I'm coming back. Let me know what you think about everything from the new growth, the different camera angle. I'm going to be upgrading, doing a lot of things, podcasts. Who knows? But stay tuned. I am the guardian of chaos. I tell it like it is. I'll say that to say this in under an hour. Don't you dare miss it.